Hello, everyone. My name is Brandy Nicole.
And I'm Marcus.
We are the Bradleys, and we want to invite you guys to our channel, Africa for Me. Africa for Me is going to be a channel where we are going to give you guys exclusive details, experiences, and knowledge on from the United States of America to the amazing and wonderful Johannesburg, South Africa.
We want to take each process step and document what we go through so we can be an assistance or a help to others that want to follow along. I'm sure there'll be many more to come to Africa after us, but we want to do our best to try to make your transition as easy and smooth as possible by letting you go through our process with us.
I would like to share what Africa for Me is for me, right? So, Africa for Me is something that came to me during a 40th birthday trip. Having gone to Africa my very, very first time for my 40th birthday, it awakened a sense of missing pieces, a sense of identity crisis that I may have been going through for quite some time living in the United States. And so Africa for me is now a journey that I embody heavily in my heart because I am so excited about learning true culture, true heritage, um, and the true roots of where I came from.
And also for me, it was once we went on that trip on our 40th birthday, it was again being awakened to something I've never experienced before, and now I can't get enough of it. So every time we go, or every time we've been, it gets harder for me to stay. I mean, harder for me to come back. So
For you to stay away.
stay away. Yes.
Yeah,
So we came up with the idea that this next time we go, we're going to stay.
absolutely.
And like I said, this process that we're going to go through, we want you to experience it with us, so we can be happy for y'all when y'all get there and join us in Johannesburg.
Absolutely. So we'd like to share our process first and foremost of what we are experiencing right now as we're trying to get approved for our visas. So this is a big deal. This is a big process, and we want to share what that process has been like for us. So for us, we have applied for and still awaiting approval. It's been 4 weeks, so we're hoping to get our approval any day now. But we applied and are waiting for approval for the retirement visa.
Yeah, I I'm retired service, 23 years in the army, and my wife is also a veteran in the army as well. So we're both disabled veterans, and we're going to go to Africa not to work, but we're going to go to experience the continent, live in you know freedom. But to get there, of course, this first process with the visas has to be gone, and it is. I want to say getting to the appointment itself is a chore. My wife spearheaded this step, and men, if your wife is or your significant other is doing it, please make yourself available to help because the more the merrier. Two sets of eyes is better than one. You can check up on each other's work and getting to the appointment. Like for us, we were supposed to go to Washington D.C. Of course, that was closed because of COVID, so we had to go to New York. And we we got to the appointment. We thought we had everything, but of course, the website gave us the wrong application form to fill out, which we had to redo once we got there. And all of the documentation that we needed to bring with us, if you want to speak on that, is we had stacks of it. So the more you bring, the better.
Yeah, so if you go to the website, it'll actually tell you which consulate you are assigned to based off of your state. So you want to make sure that you're going to the right consulate. They used to, from my understanding, allow you to apply online, but since COVID, now you have to do everything in person. So we actually had to fly from North Carolina, where we reside, to New York in order to apply. Just a few things. He mentioned how we ended up having to do a whole nother application. There is an application on the website for which is a standard visa application, which may apply in most cases, but for the retirement visa in particular, there is a special um, application that you need that they do not have on the website. that is the application we ended up having to reapply for, or refill out, I'm sorry, once we got to the consulate. It took a lot more time to do that because I had already completed the applications that was online. And we are traveling with 2 small children. So just keep that in mind. If you're doing the retirement visa, it is a separate application. So you want to make sure that you are completing the right application so that you don't have to do it once you arrive. That was our first step. A couple of pointers for you would be to make copies of everything. You need copies of everything, more than one. So they're going to do like a packet for each of you. So if you're traveling with children, they're going to need their own copies of everything in their packets as well. So you want to make sure that you have, in our case, we had us and 2 children. We needed 4 copies of everything. So you want to make sure that you have more than enough copies of everything to put in each one of those packets, just because there is no place for you to make copies to do so. And they are reluctant to make the copies for you. So you want to make sure that you have enough copies going in. That's extra copies of your IDs, your passports, your documents, your medical forms. And we're going to talk about all of those forms that are needed. But that is just FYI, make sure that you have more than enough copies, because there's no place for you to make copies once you arrive, and you're going to need that for each packet.
Um, all the documentation that they ask for from the beginning, you want to make sure you get it as early as possible and be as thorough as possible. Um, from bank statements, notarized copies, passport, biography page, fingerprints, FBI background checks, local police check. Take a self address stamped envelope so they can mail you your things back to you. You don't have to go back to your consulate to pick up your visa. And trust me, if you don't have it, they'll file it. Then you apply, and if you get approved, you have to go back to get it. So you make sure you take a self address stamped envelope so they can send it back to you, and all of your documentation. Again, be very, very thorough. Double check, triple check, and make 4 to 5 copies of everything. And if you need to call them, make sure you call as many times as possible, ask as possible before you go, to make sure you have everything. Because you can only do it on your appointment time, and then you have to reschedule. And some of those appointments are like months out, and the approval process takes a couple months too. So you have to make sure that you're completely done before you travel, at least 30 days prior to traveling. So you make sure you got it squared away.
So one of the requirements for the retirement visa is where you are going to be able to live on the continent without having to work. They do require you to be retired. You're going to be retired. So they don't want you on this visa to be a working citizen in the continent, on the continent, I should say, because you're going to then be taken away from jobs of those native citizens, and you're there on a retirement visa. So the point of it is to be a retired individual when you go. There is a requirement to make at least 37,000 Rand, which is their current, which is equivalent to about $2,000 a month USD. Now, just so you guys know, that income has to be um, something that is proven for a lifetime. It could be an annuity, a bond of some kind. It could be, in our case, disability. If you have some type of disability where you get a disability check, but you have to make at least $2,000 USD a month, and it has to be that. So if you're just going off of your normal employment, US employment, that is not going to qualify you for the $2,000 that is needed consistently in Africa. It can't be a current employer or employment that is US based. It has to be, you know, a disability. It has to be something that can be proven that you'll be able to get for a lifetime in order to qualify towards that.
And they will make you prove it. And just so we're clear, we're going to South Africa. There are many nations on the continent. You will have to get a visa for each specific country that you want to visit. You can't just go to Africa on one visa and get all Africa. You have to get a specific visa for a specific country and time frame that you want to go to. And we're doing the retirement visa. There's student visas, there's work visas. We're giving you the process that we're doing for the retirement fee. And we got those funny looks because we look so young. And they're like, "You're retired?" Yes, we are retired. And we had to prove that to them that we are retired. And when they ask about the money, your qualifications for your money, you're going to need bank statements. You're going to need a South African bank account, preferably. They're going to want bank statements from there. They're going to want to see that you're going to be an active citizen while you're here or while you're there. And so if you haven't got a South African bank account and you haven't went to South Africa, you may want to try to find somebody that has one and can vouch for you, and you can get one made online and just have something, and you can show them something. But they will ask you all of these details at the interview. Every question you want to answer is increases the likelihood that they will deny you. So make sure that the process that you're going through, you have all the steps, all your ducks in a row. This is for the retirement visa.
Yeah.
And if you're going to be a student, you got to have your classes. They're going to want schedules. They're going to want college applicant, all those things. If you're going for a working visa, they're going to want to know where you're working, how you're working, how much they're going to want to know everything.
So just keep in mind that the South African bank account is not mandatory. It's preferable. I guess it probably would look better. We actually have a South African bank account, so we were able to provide that, which may help. We're hoping that it helps, that we not only was able to provide our normal bank statements from the US, but we also was able to provide our South African bank account as well. But that is not mandatory, but just giving you pointers and tips of things that maybe will help increase the more you have. I would also like to let you guys know that we were able to get a letter of recommendation from a local pastor that we had befriended during one of our visits, that wrote a letter of recommendation to recommend that we become citizens and get approved for the visa. That is also highly suggested and looked highly on when it comes to applying, just because you have someone that is actually a native in the country that is saying that you are legit, that you are, a person that can be trusted, that type of thing. So they write a letter of recommendation. So that is a pointer. If you know someone, or you have some kind of connection with someone that's actually on the continent, that you get them to write a letter for you. They're also going to ask for proof of residency. Well, where are you going to be staying? Now, on this step, you don't have to have a lease or anything. You can actually have a hotel reservation, if that is, or Airbnb, whatever you're going to be doing, however, wherever you're going to be staying, because in most cases, you're not going to have your permanent residence in the continent just yet. That will suffice. A hotel reservation is what we submitted. That was sufficient. Something else, there is a medical report. There's a document on the website that you need to go to have your doctors fill out your medical certificate form for you, your children, and whomever is going with you. When it comes to the retirement visa, I don't think it was mandatory to have the radiological, if I said that right, I don't even know. There you go. That form. However, I got it for all of us, to include the children, just in case. I just wanted to be over prepared, even though I don't think that one is mandatory for the retirement visa, but I did get it anyway. Like I said, it's better to be over prepared than not. Keep in mind, I believe that has to be within 6 months of you actually applying that form. So there are deadlines. Fingerprints is another one. We had to get FBI checks for both adults that are going to be going. So you want to go get your fingerprints and send it in, get your FBI reports. Now, what we will tell is we've had those things. About a week and a half ago, they did contact my husband and ask him for, in addition to the FBI check, a local background check. They only asked him for it. I'm not sure why that was asked of him. So in some cases, I guess maybe, I don't know. They didn't ask me for one. They just asked him for a local one. So
I've been a soldier my whole life, but before I was a soldier, I had some naughty things. They weren't relevant to the application process now, they still wanted to know if I had been a good boy since I got out. So yeah, I had to do a local background check. They asked a couple people about insurance, medical insurance, and they may want to know how you're going to take care of yourself. For us, it's cool because our VA coverage gives us support overseas, and we can just go to a hospital and send it in to the VA. So we had that if needed. We weren't asked, but people in front of us were asked, and the people after us were asked. So I guess it depends on what
I
you're
think
doing.
it depends on the visa that you're applying for. So just keep that in mind. Some visas may require you to show proof of medical insurance as well.
Take your fingerprint checks with you when you get fingerprinted for your FBI check. Take that with you just in case. I mean, if you're not asked for it, it's okay. But if you are, you got it. Which is better to have and not need, and to need and not have. And that's the whole point of what we're doing now. So show you how smooth it can be if you are prepared. How critical it can be if you're not.
Yeah. So we are also, for those of you that are traveling with children, and for those of you that are a blended family, as we are. So I'm taking my two younger children that are from a previous marriage. And so for those of you that are a blended family that are going to be going, you will need an authorized, a notarized statement from the children's other parent authorizing you to take them to South Africa. That is something that is mandatory that you will need, that may not be, I don't think it was even stated on the website, but again, it's better to be prepared. I just thought about it ahead of time and said, let me make sure that I get a statement from him, their father, stating that he was okay with me taking them to South Africa. So just make sure, if you are a blended family and your children, there's another parent involved, you want to get a notarized statement from that parent giving you authorization to take the children to South Africa, that there's no issue there, because they will want to see that. That is going to be required.
Just real quick, passports. Well, make sure they're not within the last uh, year of the passport. If you got to get it renewed a little early, make sure you got enough time to cover the time that you're going. For us, the retirement visas last for 2 years or 4 months. It's 4 years.
4 years.
So our passport has to be able to cover that. You can go to South Africa, or I guess you can go to almost anywhere in the continent with just your passport. You just can't stay for more than 60 days or so. And some visas won't allow you to stay longer than 90 days. Uh, but for us, like I said, the retirement visa gives us 4 years. We can travel back and forth if needed. So make sure your passports are up to date. Got enough time to cover the entire time to be on the continent, as well as those notarized biography pages of the passport. You got to have those too.
Yes, you definitely want to have those. Take the picture of that bio page and also have them notarized. That's for every person, you, spouse, kids, everybody that is applying. You want to have one for each person. And you also want to make sure, again, that you have enough copies to go in, because even that letter of recommendation that we spoke about, uh, there was one needed for the kids application as well. So you, again, make sure you have enough copies of everything to go in each application.
Passport photos. Gotta have
And you
passport
do have to
photos
have
again,
passport photos.
because
Yeah.
those photos will go on the top of your application. So your visa will have your photo. You gotta have those again.
You'll need a money order for the amount, I believe it's $36 per application per person. So you want to make sure that you have a money order for that amount. I did it in 4 separate money orders just because I didn't know if they were gonna process everything in one, or if they were gonna separately do it. But you can do just one money order. If, like in our case, we had 4, us and the 2 children, you can just do one money order for all 4. Like I said, because I didn't know, I did do an individual money order for $36 4 times. But just so you know, you don't have to do it that way.
If you're going to the appointment, your kids aren't needed to go. They don't have to be present at the appointment.
If
But
they're
if you
under 14.
Oh yeah, under 14 don't. We got lucky. We were doing 1-day flights into New York, and if you've ever traveled to New York, getting around is insane anyway. And to take kids into that would have been more insane. So we were able to cut down on the insanity by just having us 2 go. And it is It is a chore, but that we had to go to New York City. Your local consulate may be closer to you, or it may not be. Allow yourself enough time to get there the morning of, or you get there the night before. But make sure you're early because we got there on time and they were running behind. It bogged us down getting back on time. But make sure you either go the night before or arrive very early in the morning so you can get there as soon as they're open. And I think the New York consulate is only open about 9 to noon.
It's a very short period of time. I don't know the hours, but you do have an appointment allotted slot. So it's best to be there early. They won't let you into the building too early, just because it's limited space. But um,
That's at the New York office,
that's
right?
at the New York office. There's three from what I remember. There's going to be the New York office, the DC office, and the California. And again, on the website, it'll tell you which office is assigned to you based off the state that you currently live in. So New York was ours. Yay. Yay.
We went down this, um, and we covered just about everything for this. Like I said, it took 4 weeks. They have called us for the one update on local background check,
Mhm.
but mostly the approval process should take 4 to 6 weeks, and we're in week 7. So we're still awaiting the final approval, and then we should get all the details thereafter. But it is a journey, start to a journey. It's the very first step. You must get this done, to go to the continent for a longer length of time if you want. But you have to get ones for each specific country that you want to go to. It's not just Africa, like a U.S. passport. You can get all the way through the U.S. For Africa, it's one country, and then you have to get a visa for that country, each one. So whether it's retirement, student, work, whatever, have to go through the process. But be over prepared, have and
Mhm.
not need. So if you're not having, so it's the same thing. But just be prepared for anything and everything.
Yes. Thanks, taken. Letter of recommendation. Oh, your flight. You will need a flight itinerary as well. You will need a flight itinerary. You do not have to purchase the flight, but they are going to want the flight information. So I just went on Delta and printed out, put in the dates, some dates for going and returning, and printed out those flight numbers and that flight itinerary and turned that in, and that was sufficient. You do not have, again, you do not have to purchase the flights. So don't purchase the flights, but you
Or the
will
hotel.
need, or the hotel. You can make a reservation for the hotel, but yeah, you don't have to physically give up money for these things right now, and so don't. Um, but that they will need a flight itinerary to what's the flight plans for your stay in South Africa as well.
That almost got me. I was like, wait a minute, we gotta buy tickets now? Well, because we're not traveling for like 8 months. I'm like, ma'am, can we work this out? She was like, no. And then my wife here, I'm telling you, she was the spearhead for it. She pulled it. I printed these off. She's like, that'll do. So yeah, make sure I mean, give for like 30 days. And that should give you enough time to, say, hey, this is what we're gonna do. Like we're gonna be doing missionary work or something. Just you can tell them whatever the purpose of the visa is for, but make sure you have those things printed out. Then you go get your tickets and your hotel reservation or Airbnb. For us, if you don't know anybody on the continent, that letter of recommendation from the bishop that we know on the ground, it pays off immensely when you know someone and they can vouch for you. So makes the approval process even more expedient for you.
Yeah, this is just they will need to also provide their ID and a utility bill, whomever your letter of recommendation is from. If you're able to get that, they are going to have to provide their ID and their utility bill as well, along with that letter of recommendation for you. So um, that in a nutshell, I believe is everything that we can share with you guys as of right now. Like I said, we are still waiting on our approval process. They have confirmed that they got the local background check that they asked for him. So it's just a matter of processing and waiting. I must say that I was very, very excited of the fact that they only required one additional thing afterwards. So that means we did really well with submitting everything that we needed the first time around. Um, So we are looking forward to hopefully doing a video really, really soon with our approvals and our new visas coming in to go ahead and make our journey to the wonderful Johannesburg, South Africa.
Yes. Jump down in the comments. Ask questions. We'll try to answer as quickly as possible with whatever information that we're not the know-all end-all. We're just giving you our experience. Everyone's experience will be different, but we'll give you as much information as possible. We want as many people to go and experience the continent as possible. Because I believe once you go, you'll do like us and stay. So, please jump down, comment, do whatever you need to do once this is posted. And we'll be back for our next one. I believe the next step in the process is
For visa?
with our approval. Flight information is actually flying to Johannesburg or to Africa, period. And other things that we'll go through as
Oh yeah, we're gonna go through a lot of things on this channel.
step by step.
On the process it takes to purchase a home, all of those things. So you guys are going to get blow by blow our experience on how we are transitioning. So we will be back very, very soon with another video. But in the meantime, please like and subscribe to this channel. And again, put any kind of questions, comments, concerns on the bottom when you get a chance. Other than that, Africa is definitely for us. We are hoping that it will be for you as well. Until then, thank you for tuning in. Y'all have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Bye.